Wow. Now I am, I guess. So YouTube moment. YouTube did not load properly because I swapped tab. Like it did not load the input to start the stream. And a BG. Thanks for telling me, Midwich. I appreciate that. Well, YouTubers will have missed the first hours. You're playing 168 and 150, which is the best? Quite frankly, I don't actually know which of the two has the most activity. So I wouldn't be able to give you like a proper answer, and quite frankly, I don't think anyone in chat really knows like which one has the highest activity between the two, because it's like, first of all, you're gonna get some of the same invasion because those level brackets are not like separate enough to get different invasions. Technically 168 should be invading 150 and 200. So on paper, 168 should be more active, but like we don't really know that for sure. But 713 is indeed more active, yeah. Like max level, every time I played at max level, it had the most activity, so. But Stitches, the most important thing actually that we learned recently is that the area where you invade from affects how fast you invade, because the way it works is the game starts, like, you know, when you select the invade everywhere function, you do invade and search to invade everywhere, but the order of the area you search is different depending on where you are, meaning that if I start invading from here, from first step, it's gonna start searching invasion here and then, you know, go in the outer circles afterward, and so you're not gonna get the same activity from invading to the same places, basically. So which location do you prefer? Well, like I said, I learned that recently, so I'm trying out different places to invade from. So far, I've not really found, like, a standout area. Like, I'm trying different spots every stream, basically. My recommendation to you would be to use logic. Like, where do you think that the people at your level are going to be at playing the game? You know, because that's basically what it is, right? Like, where do you think are these people going to be in the world? We tried also using the map function, which supposedly, you know, we tried using that, but that really doesn't work. Like, it doesn't do jack shit. Like, try following, like, where the blue markers are. That's just, you know, a bunch of horse shit, so you can forget about that. Like, we tried that already. It's like, it feels like it's misleading. Yeah, it's just the effigies, not invasions. Well, there you go, yeah. Are we supposed to follow the red markers or the blue ones? Technically, the blue markers, because, you know, you're technically looking to invade parties, right? Also, from my experience, like, there's not really a dedicated ganking spot per se. Like, usually when I play and I get sniped, like, gankers are gonna be, like, sometimes they're at red main, sometimes they're in the, you know, sometimes they're at first step, sometimes they are in, Lanedale, you know, like, the city, sometimes outside the city at Lanedale. Like, it's just... it changes every time. Yeah, I wanted to buy myself time to go back to some resistance here. You know, just gotta play smart. There's no need to rush. There you go. And now we can go in there. Man, they have no HP. The trick is to play off-meta setup that can't roll catch passive play, then the gankers will come. That doesn't work for everyone though, Chirico. You have to be a streamer like Steel or Knight for that to work, so you can't give that as an advice. Because if they can't see you, it doesn't work. You need to care about you and see you. Tilovsky and G versus the world was fun to watch. Yeah, it was fun too. Like, it was... what's fun when I do these kind of thing, and when Steel does it, you know, as well, is that the quality of our opposition goes up drastically because the fights are more fair. Like, when it's 2v2 and, you know, our advantage is no friendly fire and the host has more resources, or Estus. That's our advantage, but our disadvantage that's often forgotten, and something that shitters don't really have to deal with, but we do it because, you know, we play more fair. But usually, like, if you invade shitters, they'll reset at the site of grace right after you invade them. But we don't reset. And so what that means is the first set of invaders, we're gonna fight, like, evenly with our physic. The second set of invaders, we don't have our physic anymore. And so we're basically playing every fight with a big disadvantage. That's what it comes down to. I'm not gonna fight here. This is like fucking closed off map. Can't do anything from there. Like, that's another thing, right? Like, gankers will try to host at the most, like, advantageous places for them. They'll clear everything. Like, they'll host at spots where invaders have nowhere to go to back up to or to retreat. And so, like, it's super skewed in their favor. And that's basically your job to not accept those terms, because in this game there's really nothing that's stopping gankers or griefers from abusing the full unbalance that this game has. Like, it's not like Dark Souls 3, where in Dark Souls 3 I could play every single invasion and find a path to victory because the game mechanics allowed it. You know, if I survived long enough, I was gonna get a teammate, you know? Like, you couldn't just invade, like, random, like, one platform areas like this. The double greatsword and the double colossal sword. Oh my god. Okay, we can't do this with the axe. It's gonna be a BG. Insane lock-on should gain. Like this, like, you know, invading here, like accepting those terms is basically like a recipe to just get frustrated because you can't really do anything on small platforms like that. Like the only reason you can like survive is, you know, having a weapon like this that is very dominant, has no recovery. And even then, like, you have to get lucky almost. And like if, for instance, like these guys were probably PvEers, right? But if these guys were like stream snipers, like your options are even more limited and you basically can't do anything. And if they want to be like dickheads even more, there'd be 3 of them there instead of 2, you know what I mean? And so like your odds of winning there are basically like, you know, just pray that one of them like just like go for throwing them off of the platform and just pray that one of them falls for it. That's like your only path to victory. And so, like, those are not necessarily, like, the type of games that make for very fun gameplay, especially over the long term when you play those invasions, like, over and over. And so, like, over time, you learn to, like, pass up on invasions in areas where you don't really see your chances of victory, or it feels like a pointless, basically. Especially if you're playing with like off-meta stuff. You know, if you're playing with off-meta stuff, your path to victory is even more difficult sometimes. Like this is another area where people can just grief you there. If they want to. Okay, we're gonna get a good opportunity to test. I was about to say to test against shields, but he pulled his shield out. Or remove the shield, I should say. Oh wow, he didn't get stunned. That was weird. Do that. The host is super laggy, unfortunately for me. Too laggy. This guy is completely brain dead. Gotta be careful about that. Guy's net is so disgustingly bad. Jesus Christ. ChatGPT blue? For real though, right? We're starting to see people like integrate fucking ChatGPT API for like player, you know, like you can play your character and use ChatGPT to play your character, and like the bot will play the game and they just fucking move forward and attack, you know what I mean? He's experiencing the joy of a FromSoft title for the first time, yeah. The dead Elden Ring theory. Feels like it sometimes. Remember the Skyrim Very Special Edition played with Alexa chatbot? No, I don't remember that actually. But that doesn't surprise me. Have you seen the Dark Souls 1 PvP AI? No, I have not. You guys are bringing stuff that I'm actually curious about. I remember they had an ad at some point where you played like Skyrim on a fridge or smart fridge, but I forgot if it had anything to do with Alexa. Yo, that's the player. We would have gotten crushed if we didn't do the R2. Because the R2 stunned his hyper armor. If we did the R1, he would have done a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Doom can run on a pregnancy test. Yeah, boy. Yeah, accepting those unfair ganker fight burnt you out. Even when you accepted them only to get better. That's the thing though, like you can't get better if there's like, you know, the way you get better is learning from your mistake, but in situations like that, like, there's nothing to learn. Because, like, you have no logical path to victory. Your only path is literally to get lucky and to do stuff that wouldn't even work consistently. Like, you basically have to make a play that's stupid and it's gonna kill you if you repeat that in the long run, because that's the only play you can do. So it doesn't even get you to be better if you play those, like, Radon Beach Invasion or, like, or Patch Cave Invasions, or like any variation of these, you know? Even if the area is slightly smaller, slightly bigger. When you're closed off in one spot, you have no plays, so you can't really improve if you have no plays available. You guys hear that a fridge ad caused a woman to have a psychotic episode because she thought the fridge was addressing her? Well, I mean, Cleve, like, let's be honest here, like, you know, I think at that point, like, it could be any trigger could be, like, a trigger for a psychotic episode at that point. Like, it could be anything. It just happened to be the fridge, if that's a true story, you know? Like, psychosis is a real thing, you know? People start to hallucinate and shit, so I don't really think the trigger even matters there. Yo, Elden Dad, thank you so much for the resub for half a year, man. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate that. Jan beat Marab. I actually did not even watch the fight. I did not watch the fight, but I saw like the, you know, the the nasty like supercut that they do on YouTube, you know, when they show the full fight on YouTube, like people have to like cut the video in all types of weird ways in order to not get automatically flagged by the system. I saw one of those. Obviously, you can't really see fights properly that way, but from what I saw, like Jan fought impressively, dude. But you know, also I think one thing that people forget in these types of matchup is Marab is a very like, it's a short tank, right? Like short, bulky dude with ton of endurance. Jan is, you know, kind of similar. So like you have two guys with a very low center of gravity, and so like it's not gonna be as easy for Marab to throw like a short guy down as it would be to, you know, to throw down, or to take down, I should say, not throw down, to take down someone that's a little taller. It's like when Islam fought Volkanovski, right? He didn't have as much success as he usually does, like with takedowns, at least in their first fights, because Volk is just very, very compact. Low center of gravity. People always only think of reach, but low center of gravity is a very real advantage in these types of exchanges. So, you know, on the one hand, like, I was surprised, but not, like, overly surprised. First of all, I was not even aware that this was a matchup, so I can't really say that, you know, I thought X or, you know, I thought one or the other was going to win, because I was not even aware of that card, so I just missed it. But it's unfortunate that I missed it, because I would have liked to see that. Especially since I was one of those who thought that Jan was very underrated. I mean, I say that, you know, he was a champion, but I felt like he didn't necessarily like deserve all the, well, maybe not deserve. Deserve is not the right way to put it, but like it felt like he had the skills to stay at the top, basically. That's what I felt like. These are my friends. They need to open the door. They have a ladder there? Oh, they have a lever. I feel like a gladiator going in there. Oh. Beat him through the lightning. Opening moment, didn't get stunned. Ever since I did that, what's it called? You know, that bone axe, jawbone axe. Ever since I did that baby turtle jawbone axe stream, you know, I really discovered the power of the R2s. For all axes, and it's super useful when you understand how good this R2 is. It's such a versatile attack because it stuns hyper armor because it's a two-handed R2 from a small medium weapon, you know. So like that R2 is very fast, it stuns hyper armor, and then it has long stun, and so it's a very versatile attack. It's basically a good mix-up for a roll catch, and it's also a safe attack for a whiff punish. Like if you're fighting something that has fast hyper armor, and you want to whiff punish, but you don't know if your opponent is gonna do like a follow-up hyper armor attack. And if you whiff punish them with like your normal attack, then you know you'll lose the trade against the hyper armor. Then using the R2 for the whiff punish will break that follow-up hyper armor. So it's a very good attack when you're fighting an hyper armor weapon and they whiff, and then you go for a whiff punish. It's basically a safer way to approach fighting hyper armor weapons, basically. Obviously, you know, a good player using an hyper armor weapon would give you a hard time still, but having the option, no matter how you put it, is always always a good thing. Oh, hate my input there. I like this guy has that net. Yeah, he does. Okay. Oh, they both have that net. Oh my god. I feel like this is going to be more useful. What are they doing? This is so latent at that. Jesus Christ, man, the latency is disgusting. Like, it changes the interactions altogether when the lat is that high. Like, what you'd normally do that works doesn't work, and what you'd normally do that doesn't work works. Pretty brutal. Is that a full second? A full second is longer than that, I think, but it was pretty brutal. Also, the follow-up R1 on Warp Tax is unreactable. Yeah, that's true. So that's also very good. What I like about two-handed hand axe is the speed for the first R1. Definitely makes for a strong option for roll catches in general, like just... And the damage is very decent too. And as we learned with the testing last time, the stamina damage is actually like super good for two-handed hand axe, not one-handed, two-handed hand axe. One-handed, the stam damage for hand axe was pretty bad, but two-handed for some reason, really good stam damage. Would be nice if the second R1 stun. Marco, you would have liked Dark Souls 3. It should stun, man. If they had the game set up this way so that the follow-up did stun, oh man, we would have such an easier time killing people that you're... Like, you'd have an easier time killing people that you're better than. You'd have an easier time getting clean wins. You'd have, like, a gameplay that rewarded more outplaying, spacing. Because right now, like, a lot of fights, what will happen is, like, you'll outplay your opponent, you'll win the first hit, like, you'll outspace your opponent from neutral, get that first hit in, but after that, usually the opponent attacks out of its stun, and the only thing you can do is, you know, back off and let them off the hook. So you have to win neutral again, or maybe you try to pressure them after and you end up trading, and so you lose neutral. Like, either way, it's not the best situation. This guy has the I think he's a parry king. Nope. Yep, I knew he was a parry king. King Louis, you think the UFC like qualifiers seem like pretty low compared to what it used to be? I wonder if it's that, or if the top level contenders are just that much better than everyone else. I wonder because, you know, like right now, if you look at the champion in each division, like there's some solid champions out there, you know. I'm mostly thinking of Islam, but I think Kamzat's about to be champ too, honestly. There's a few top. Okay, but you said there's a few top contenders in like you know, middleweight, heavyweight, that sort of stuff. Close. So many latent players today. It's so weird to fight, like, you know, you guys know, like, that, you know, for my streams, I do streams at like any hour. Sometimes I do streams in the morning, sometimes I do it at night, sometimes I do it in the afternoon, sometimes I do it like, you know, after dinner. You know what I mean? Like, I basically streamed at every possible hours. And for whatever reason, recently, the worst time for latency and latent players and laggy fucks is my prime time, which should be basically like, you know, when I say like, oh, you know, it's not their fault, like I'm playing outside of my time zone. Like, for instance, if I'm playing at the middle of the night, like if I encounter laggy people, they're not, or latent people, they're not latent, I am, right? Because this should be prime time for X or Y country, not mine. Right now, like, this is NA prime time. Like, it is 6, you know, it's 6:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's like, if I'm encountering anyone that's latent, like, they are in my time zone right now. Like, it's supposed to be, like, prime gaming time for people that work, you know, either after dinner or before dinner. Like, this is basically the time where NA is supposed to be on to play, basically. Kamzat's already champ? Is he? Who did he fight to become champ? Bro, I missed that? What the hell? Who did he fight? Dude, did I really miss, like, Kamzat becoming champ, or... Oh, he fought DDP. I remember the DDP fight. Why did I... Maybe because I never considered DDP to be a fucking champion, but... That must be why. I guess you're right. I have already forgot that he fought DDP. You're right. Like, DDP was indeed... Like, that's a trap. Should be 2 of them, though. Oh. Insane. Oh. Invasion over, whatever. Yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason, I always had this impression that Kamzat was always the, like, you know, the top contender. Because I felt like he was top contender for so damn long. Like to me, like, in my mind, like, he was already, like, good enough to beat, like, anyone when he fought Kevin Holland and practically destroyed him, like, super fast, like everyone else. And when he beat Gilbert Burns, and when he beat Kamaru Usman, I was like, oh my god. Like, Usman and Burns are basically, like, his 2 toughest fights. Like, on paper, they're also, like, the best opponents. Like, they're better than, like, in my opinion, like, fighting Usman is way more of an achievement than beating Dricus. Like Usman was a real, like, top champion. Like Dricus is, you know, your Saturday morning champ, you know, like just there for Saturday morning. I never thought that Dricus would stay champ. Ooh, he almost got denied. Nice. What is Kamzat's next fight, by the way? Who is he fighting? He's injured? Oh, that's unfortunate. I didn't know you watched the UFC, Clay. I don't follow the UFC like I used to. Like, I used to, like, not miss a fight, but I feel like over time, you know, start paying less and less attention to that sort of stuff. It's still entertaining, but, you know. Henry Cejudo retired last night too. Again? Who did he fight? Who did he fight this time? He should not have come back. He should have sat on his victory. Unfortunate. You played Arc Raiders? No, I don't really play real shooters much anymore. I don't play MMOs either. Like I know it's a battle royale game, but sometimes I feel like it's be called MMOs. People stop playing then too. It's just duels now. Peyton Talbot, did he lose or did he win? What about Nightreign DLC? I mean, I have nothing against Nightreign other than the fact that I think that I really like the concept, and I actually wish that they poured a little more resources into Nightreign in general. Like, it definitely feels like a super small team was tasked for Nightreign, and they just lack the budget resources to do anything that's substantial. And I'm not talking about the DLC, I'm talking about the game overall and the DLC. Like, I think that, to me, like, the biggest reason why I got disinterested in Nightreign is that it was too repetitive. I've not played the new DLC stuff either. I don't really feel interested because I know that, like, it's not gonna grab my attention for more than a few days, basically. So at that point, I'm like, do I want to bother? The only reason why I'd play Nightreign right now is, like, you know, if I really don't have anything to do, which is not the case, like, I'm pretty busy. If I don't have anything to do and I have, like, Cleve and Canuck who, like, hit me up and are like, you know, we're hopping on Nightreign, whatever, get in there. I'm like, whatever, alright. You're literally playing right now, you agree? Do you agree? Well, I missed the timing of your comment. Do you agree that there's a lack of content? Is that what you agree with? It'd be fun. There you go. There he is. You know what? I think it's smarter for me to... Insane save. Oh, I guess that works. I didn't hit it, but... You know. Jesus Christ, dude. This is so dangerous. Like, the PvE is destroying me. Holy shit. Dude, we almost got killed by that hand. I wish Duskblood was a Nintendo exclusive, because that game with live service would have been... Well, would have single-handedly be the turning point for From Software. Well, maybe not for the Redditors. Like, maybe it would have been the turning point for the doom of Redditors, because I have to understand that there's really like a huge tribal gap between PvEers and PvPers. Like, PvEers are mostly casual players. You know, they're the majority of people. They're people who have way more going on in their life than playing video game. And PvPers are the bottom of the barrel. They're people that have no life, that are sweaty, they're tryhards, and they're bad people. There's these two types of people. And the people that don't want PvP because they don't want to have to deal with the no life, because they know they don't stand a chance because they have a life. And so when a studio like From Software has an appeal for both, there's going to be a some sort of confrontation between the two way to look at us. Yes, that's us. Yeah, exactly. There's going to be like a dilemma, like, okay, like, will FromSoft allocate their resource and their focus to PvP or PvE? And most people would probably say that PvE, allocating resources to PvE is a better idea, because right now that's most of the audience too. The truth nuke. I like to give a little cynicism to these takes. But, you know, can't really tell a joke if it's, you know, all made up. Like, it has to have, like, a little bit of truth, right? But yeah, with all things considered, go back to Duskblood. Like, Duskblood would have been, like, a good entry point for FromSoft to, like, start paying more attention to the PvP. Because ultimately, from Software's point of view, like, I think at this point it's fair to say that the philosophy for FromSoft is simply like making good games. They make whatever they want to make. They have full creative freedom from the parent company. Miyazaki have spoken about it many times before. Like, I've looked at the hiring pages for like the From Software website. They have like basically like their motto that's written, that's like, our philosophy is to make like good experience or whatever. I forgot how it's translated, but basically philosophy of making good games. With that being said, the reality is, you know, these video games are funded with money from investors that invest in the company Kadokawa. And so these investors, the job of Kadokawa is for these investors to make money. That's their job. Like, that is literally their job. Like, it is the company's job to make value for investors. And that's no different in Japan or in America. And so with that being said, a lot of the executive and business people, they don't know what's a good game. They're fucking clueless about what's good, what video game is gonna sell and not. The only thing that they know is they look at Fortnite, they look at Call of Duty, they see these live service games that generate like so much money, and they're like, we want something like that for our franchise. And so at some point, I'm sure FromSoft is going to feel the pressure of the parent company like whispering behind their back, you know, make a live service. And because FromSoft is FromSoft, I don't even think that they would necessarily be against like doing it like once or twice, because FromSoft is actually a video game studio that likes to try different things, and I'm sure they actually would be open-minded to try like something new here and there. But yeah, with all that being said, Duskblood could have been that, but it won't be because it's a Switch exclusive, so. Okay, where are my enemies? That was all me, baby. How about a 120 FPS cap for their next Souls? I felt like that was one of the best thing about AC6 was Armored Core 6 ran so damn well on PC. When I played AC6 for the first time on PC, I was like, oh my god, like, it's been so long since I've played a game that runs so well, like from, you know, from the launch of the game. And it was really like a breath of fresh air. And it made like it made me happy playing the game at like good performance, stable, no drops, you know, like it felt right, and it felt fun, like if only just because of that, right? Like it was really nice for a change. And you know, coming from Software, I know like 120 FPS is not the all and be all, but like for some reason we're still in the 60 FPS era where the target is 60 FPS for most games, even though a lot of games launch at 30 FPS for whatever reason. I feel like 120 FPS, in my opinion, is the sweet spot right now. If a game can run at steady 120 FPS, like, I'll be very satisfied. If it run at steady 60 FPS, to me, that's the minimum. If a game run at steady 60, that's basically, like, the minimum you'd want for a game nowadays. And 120 FPS, you're like, ah, that's really nice. Like, I'm glad you decided to overachieve a little bit, you know? Because most studios really only aim for 60. Unless it's a, you know, a competitive games. Like, competitive games, obviously, you really optimize the shit out of it. Like, I was actually watching a benchmark vid the other day of, like, you know, benchmarking various games with different, like, latency. I was watching, like, some latency numbers for frame generation. And the big lines are basically that, for the most part, some of that, I think it was frame generation for lossless scaling. And at the end of the day, like, a 2x frame gen multiplier running on, like, a single graphics card, for the most part, it added around 10 milliseconds of latency, which, to be quite honest, for a single-player game, that's very manageable. Like, it's very respectable latency for a single-player game. Obviously, you don't want to do that for multiplayer, but for single-player, you know, let's say you're playing fucking Skyrim, like, that 10 millisecond is not gonna change jack shit for you. I don't know if the host was trying to play honest, or if he was just busy dodging the PvE attack. I think he was being honest. PvE, though, is just following him like crazy. Oh, he hit early there. I'll let him 1v1 this guy, because I think he let me 1v1. Uh-oh. The night is coming back for him. Slowly but surely. Are they fighting, or...? Like, my teammate is just dragging the host, like, through the PvE. Maybe he's angry at me that I'm not ganking him. But I have to honor the fact that he let me fight his teammate, so I can't just gank him like that. Gank the red? No. I thought that the host would kill the red, but I think the red just ran away the whole time behind PvE. I would fight him on this platform right now, but our fight is going to be interrupted by the red shooting. Bro, this fucking guy, man. I wish the host would run back to the grace to, like, resummon his friend at this point. What's the red plan? I don't know, like... I think the red realized that the host was going to beat him in a 1v1, so he started playing, like... You know, like the type of invader that just runs away in a 1v1. Or watching an unskippable cutscene? Yeah, pretty much. I think the host got the memo. 2v2 is gonna be more fun anyway. Oh, unfortunate. Invaders running away from 1v1 are worse than shitters. Well, I don't know about worse. Because they're running away from a fair fight. Whereas shitters, there was never a fair fight to begin with, so... It's up to you to say, like, which one is most scared of losing? The one who never intended to play fair in the first place, or the one who gets away when they're losing? Like, he clearly doesn't want to 1v1 the host, but I would 1v1 the host. I just don't want him to interrupt us. Because, like, the host let me kill his teammate without interrupting me, so I'm not gonna fucking gank the host. But this guy definitely won't let me fight the host, because I really doubt it. Like, look at him. He's like he wants me... Look at that. He wants to gank this guy. Okay, there you go. Just block the exit. Bro, I feel like we're... And now he's gonna kill him, and when his friend comes, I'm gonna get 2v1. Watch. Oh, his friend's not coming. Bro, this side, alright? You try to attack me there? Okay. You're dead. Girl tried to backstab me, like... It's fucking play, dude. Like, the host is not doing anything scummy. He tried to be sneaky about it, too. Like, this is what I meant by, like, a safer whiff punish. Like, after you miss there, like, if I do... Oh, now I missed, but... You know, if I do that, it's safer than punishing with an R1. But, I mean, if I don't miss, though. I win that. You have to respect the hyper armor, but... Well, he has to respect the R2 as well. Dude, I kind of really like that our teammate tried to sneakily kill us. I kind of enjoyed that. I enjoyed, like, killing him back. You know, like, he tried to one-shot us, and I like that he gave us a reason to kill him. That was my favorite part. You know, it's not that I have something against, like, ganking hosts that have the tongue on, you know? Like, you can absolutely do that. It's just that the host let me 1v1 his teammate. Like, it would be so scummy if, like, he lets me 1v1 his teammate and then I gank him afterward. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, he gave me a reason to kill him to get it over with. Because ultimately, like, you know, the way I see it, as an invader, you have, like, you're basically your best situation. That was the case with Dark Souls 3 as well. Your best situation, like your textbook situation, your condition to win, is separating a player, whether it's a phantom or a host. If you separate a player to get a 1v1, you should absolutely take that opportunity, because that's a winning condition. Because technically you're supposed to be better than the people you play against. That's kind of like the whole point. And so if you don't take the 1v1s, it's probably because you know that you're worse than the person you're fighting against. And so that just creates a unfortunate dynamic where your only winning condition is basically, like, to run around, run away, and basically, like, exhaust like the mental fortitude of your opponent. Like, basically annoy them to death. A lot of people play like that, but it's not a very compelling way to play. I think if you want to improve too, like from the perspective of someone who wants to get better at the game, you have to take the 1v1s, because that's definitely when you're gonna learn to get better. If you lose the fight and it's not a one-sided fight, you should be able to take a few things away from that fight, win or lose, you know, to apply to your game to improve a little bit. Like, for instance, even if I played these games for years and years, even if Elden Ring is 3 years old, last time we did some duels with Green for like 5 hours, I think we both took a lot away from the Lance versus Lance matchup, and we both realized how strong the R2s was. And it basically like heavily evolved like our Great Lance game, for instance. Like, it made us a lot better with that weapon. Just because we fought someone similarly skilled and we took away from that fight. That's how it works. Want to get better, you have to fight someone, win or lose, of similar skill than you, take away from the fight, learn a few things. If you can't win your ones, you shouldn't be invading in this game. I will say the quality of the opposition that plays this game, like, for instance, even a Peeve or, you know, someone who's not very good at 1v1, still has a lot of opportunities to win 1v1, because the people you invade in this game, for the most part, are all really bad. And so if you've been playing this game for any meaningful amount of time, and it doesn't need to be a lot, like, basically, if you're interested in the PvP and you watch like streams like this one, or Steel stream, if you're minimally interested in PvP and you play it semi-regularly, you're, by default, you're gonna be better than like 90% of people you invade, just by that very fact. Because the people you invade, for the most part, are just not very good. I say the people you invade, people we invade, all of us, really. And it doesn't matter the level bracket. It's one thing I learned about this game, is like, unlike other Souls game, like, there's no good players that play at meta type deal. Like, the good players follow you basically at every level you play at. And most people that play this game, whether it's max level, low level, or meta level, they're all bad for the most part. Just wanted to thank you and Steel. I've been dealing with fuck personal problems lately, but your vids and streams have really helped me distract myself from all. Thanks to you two, I've gotten into PvP these past weeks. Still really bad, but I have a lot of fun playing and learning. I'd rather get annoyed at a laggy host than be stuck in my own thoughts. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're finding some entertainment. That's also a reason why I usually, like, I don't really talk about serious stuff for the most part in these streams. Like, sometimes we slip up and we talk about, like, more serious topics, but for the most part, I try to keep these streams, like, lighthearted, just like you said, like, you know, keep it, like, purely entertainment. And for the most part, try to keep it mostly about these games. Keep the topic about the gameplay and the game and the balance and everything related to FromSoft. I feel like you said, people get enough of reality checks like elsewhere that they don't really need that reality check when you just want to turn off a little bit and just enjoy some time doing whatever. The most serious topic you've heard was the nun falling down the stairs. That was a joke, though. It was not a real topic. That was a bad joke. I will give you that, but it was not a true story or anything. And there's nothing out there like Souls PvP. Once you dive, it's hard to leave forever. For me, it's not even about Souls PvP. Like, very often I hear the argument that, you know, the reason why people stick to Elden Ring or stick to Souls game is because they're the only game that have, like, the unique invasion system. I disagree with that. I think I'd still be playing these games even if there wasn't, like, some sort of invasion system. To me, what keeps me playing these is not the invasion that's unique, it's their gameplay formula. It's like the way the character moves, the way the spacing works. Like you don't really get any action game, like three-dimensional action game, where you have that much control over the fighting, the melee fighting that you're doing. Like, FromSoft is really unique in that position. Like, the gameplay is very unique for From Software games. And it's for a very good reason that, you know, every other studio out there is trying to emulate the Souls genre. Like, developers, they know that FromSoft is onto something. They like their games. They might not all know why they like it. Like, I see that often with developers. Like, they like certain things that From Software do. They try to make it their own in their game, but they don't really understand why it works, so it fails miserably. But for the most part, like, I think it's fairly widely understood that FromSoft really has something good, unique going on for their game. And I think when you hear people being tired of Souls games or Souls clone, it's probably because the people that are making these Souls clone are so fucking clueless that their Souls clones are mostly all bad. But you never hear anyone disappointed when From Software announces a new game or a new project, unless it's a Switch 2 exclusive. There's something unique about combat that others are missing. I mean, I can break it down. I feel like we do that almost every stream. It really, like, fuck, someone had the actually exact word I was looking for. Inertia, I think it was. Basically, Souls game have this inertia, and I'm gonna break it down with words that everyone can understand. Basically, like, if you're playing an Assassin's Creed game, let's say that, I say Assassin's Creed, like any melee action game, you know, we can take God of War or, you know, like any melee action game. Like, your attack will lunge you forward toward your target to compensate for the distance between you and your target. So basically, if I'm in Assassin's Creed and I try to hit this glowing thing, which is the enemy, like, my character is basically gonna do this attack that lunges all the way to the target, no matter if I'm here, no matter if I'm here, and sometimes even like if I'm here. And so the game compensates for the distance, so there's no consistency. Basically, like, if you hit the attack and you're locked onto your target, and let's say they're not blocking or anything, you're going to hit your target no matter the distance. Where from Soft is very different. You have to manage that distance yourself. If I attack from here, I'm out of the range. Like, you need to be on target in order to hit it. So that introduces like some real spacing. And spacing is absolutely something that introduces a lot of skill to the game. And that's true for PvE, that's true for PvP, that's true for every aspect of the Souls games that you play. Like, spacing is always at the forefront. And the same thing with timing. FromSoft has this way of designing their enemies, designing their attacks, so that every attack that you throw out there, there's a real, you know, a very precise timing to dodge these attacks, and it's not random, and it's all, you know, for the most part, it's all really thoughtful, especially compared to other games out there. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you an example. There's a lot of games out there that give you a dodge distance that's massive with like a ton of iframes. And so basically, you don't really have to time your dodge because your dodge is so generous that it's not really required to be thinking about what your opponent, your enemy, whether it's PvE or PvP, is going to be doing. You know you can just spam dodge and you'll be able to get out of it. Whereas in this game, if you just spam dodge against a lot of the bosses, a lot of the enemies in PvP, you're going to get roll caught. You're going to get punished for it. So FromSoft really does this emphasis on timing. I feel like devs sort of understand the timing aspect, but they usually miss the spacing aspect. And for the same reason, there's also a lot of nuances out there. Like a lot of games, they see like, oh, they like Sekiro, so they try to incorporate Sekiro mechanics into their game. They like Souls, so they try to incorporate a roll. You know, they try to pick and choose the mechanics they like and incorporate them together, which is fine. You know, like you pick what you like and you make it unique by mixing everything together in a unique way, whatever. But for the most part, if you don't understand these mechanics and why it works, it's not going to be good. And it's for that same reason that in a lot of games, the parry is a bad mechanic. In a lot of games, not necessarily from software games, but in a lot of games, they treat parry as this, you know, Souls games have a parry, therefore Souls, you know, so we like Souls games are good, you know, Souls games have a parry, therefore we need a parry in our game. Very often that's what happens with a lot of these Souls clone. And so when they make their parry, they basically make it so that you can reaction parry everything. Meaning that, you know, any fast attack, like your parry comes out frame 1, and you counteract any attack on reaction, which is like not the point of the parry. The parry is supposed to be a prediction tool. Yes, at some point you can parry on reaction certain attacks because you've learned the moveset over time. Like, for instance, if you see a particular boss attack that's very slow and telegraphed, you can react to the right timing when you see the startup of that slow attack. But for the most part, most attacks you should not be able to parry on reaction. It's supposed to be a prediction. Whether in PvP because you know the opponent's about to attack because you have some experience, or whether in PvE like you memorize the move of the enemy that you're fighting against and you know the timing for the specific move. And so I feel like a lot of devs, they know what they like, but they don't know why they like it. And so when they try to incorporate it, that's why we get all these bad Souls clone. They make a lot of these mistakes, not understanding why Souls games make things the way they make it. And so you get a lot of, you know, subpar Souls games, and you get some Souls games fatigue, as they call it, where people are tired of seeing these Souls clones because these Souls clones are so bad and they don't really understand what FromSoft is doing, so they're not moving the genre forward in any way, shape, or form. We see a lot of that. Also, Archie, thanks for the sub, dude. I really appreciate that. Welcome in, man. We talking about Lords of the Fallen? No, we're talking about Souls clones in general. Not talking about any particular title. Talking about the fact that Souls games have something unique going for them. We fight this guy at the start? Look, we did. Wrong bolus. There you go. It's gonna be better to fight here. I mean, it's so obvious that he's gonna parry there. This game is so inconsistent. Oh my god. You have to be mindful of, you know what? Actually, I rarely do that. Let's put on the parry resist tally, or if we get parried by accident. If we get parried by accident, at least, hopefully it doesn't kill us. He did the mistake of two-handing. The moment he two-hands, I don't have to worry about not getting parried, so I can attack him more freely. And so the moment he loses the parry threat, he dies right away. We call him 007. 7 parry attempts, 0 parry. Souls Bond, dude. Insane. Speaking of parry. But, you know, we talk about how From Software does it better than everyone. You know, From Software is far from perfect. Like, sometimes it feels like they don't really understand what they're doing. Like with the parry right now, you know, like parry have too low recovery. Or too, like, free to throw out. Is Ad Mortem still on your radar? It's one of the few upcoming games you have hope for. It was until I got copyright infringement for reacting to their trailer. Now I don't give a shit about it. The devs are too clueless for my taste. That's whack. I mean, to be fair, like, it's not them, but when I say they're clueless, I mean it. Like, I know exactly what happened. Like, basically, these guys did not, like, quote-unquote, register their music for the YouTube algo, and so they basically opened themselves up to people taking the music or the sounds in their trailer and doing copyright claims on their behalf. But, I mean, you could say that it's not their fault, but it's absolutely their fault. Like, they just don't know what they're doing, like I said. Like, that's basically what happened. Like, basically, it doesn't matter if you legally own your soundtrack or your music. You have to register it. You have to have, like, a label, like, be registered with it, and have that label basically have full control and be, like, either be with the YouTube algo, or you simply make the, which is what, you know, what you should be doing. Like, I'm giving them freebies if they're listening right now. What they should be doing is put their music in the YouTube copyright-free library and basically give away their music to common right. And, like, not the full fucking soundtrack of the game or anything, but at least the soundtrack for the trailer. That way you're sure that no one is ever going to be able to copyright claim anything. That's what you should be doing, but like I said, they're clueless. You just stop, like, randomly. This is mildly annoying. Play and save. Not sure about that. Actually, either ate my input or it came out early, not really sure there. I definitely rolled though. You don't even play this game and Reduvia annoys the hell out of you? Dude, Amish, it's the whole thing with Elden Ring. Like, you know how we played invasions in Dark Souls 3? Like, in this game, like, you can never attack back. Like, there's so much stuff that's so spammable that are range attacks in this game. You have to, like run around, like, waiting for your opponent to stop. That's all you can do, like, for the most part. Like, yes, if you're in a 1v1, like, you can angle a jump, like, to the side and do jumping attack punish against this, you know, Reduvia spam, for instance, but, like, if I do that in that instance, I'm getting hit by the Ultra. So basically, there's no opening whatsoever. So all I can do is just, like, run around and wait until they're done. What's the best invasion tool, in your opinion? Well, it depends if you consider Golem Great Bow an invasion tool. You mean, like, the consumables? Consumables, there's, you know, there's a lot of important ones. Like, you know, like, fan daggers are important. The harpoon, I wouldn't say it's as important because I was playing without it for a long time. But sometimes we get invasion wins because of the harpoon, so it's a nice addition. You know, would you consider, like, bundles to be important? Well, you know, if you have a Fade build, you don't really need those. Then there's the sleep pots. You don't need the sleep pots for invasions, but once you realize how strong they are in certain situations, they're a very, very hard to miss option when it's the time to use them. You know, like BHB and or BHS and Endure. Yeah, do you consider Ashes of War to be tools? Because technically, like, Endure is not really used much offensively. It's really used as a defensive tool. So the Finger Sever, there you go. That's it's an important one. It depends on what you consider tools. There's a lot of good ones. The Golem Great Bow. It depends on what you consider tools, but like, for instance, I consider Radon Ash of War to be like an invasion tool. You know, like, even though it's a weapon, like, I consider, like, doing this Ash to, like, knock people off of ledges to be like a valuable invasion tool. I don't really consider it much as a weapon per se. Checking the host region language when loading in. I started using that more though, like just pressing the middle button just to see how many players are in the world. That has helped me tremendously to not get ambushed. It's a little... I never used to do that, even in Dark Souls 3, like I never used to do that. I would just stick to what's in front of me in the game. But I've noticed like Steel doing this a lot. And people doing that on Steam a lot as well. And so I thought to myself, well, you know, I feel like it probably doesn't even matter which platform you're on. Like, you have the ability to see who's in the game, like, no matter like where you're playing. So might as well use it. That's what I told myself. It is valuable when you're invading, checking how many players are in the world. Like, it helps you gauge like how to approach a situation. You don't get ambushed as much. And it's especially useful as someone who streams, because if there's one thing that's very often overlooked, is when you stream like this, you cannot ever do surprise attacks. Like, you can sometimes do it if you know you're fighting some clueless PvEers and they have no idea who you are, and, you know, they're not watching, you're fairly confident of that. Then you can start making, like, smart plays with, like, going around the map and, you know, sneaking behind people, surprise attack, that sort of stuff. But, like, for instance, if I play off-stream, guys, one of my most used talisman is the Concealing Veil, if I play off-stream. On stream, it's completely useless for me to use that, because the people that I'm fighting, for the most part, not all the time, but for the most part, they're watching the stream. Even if I have a delay on my stream as some sort of buffer to so that people, like, don't know my every single move, like, in the heat of the moment, even if I have a buffer, it's pointless to use that, because the people watching know exactly where you are. And so your outplay potential as an invader on a grander scale is largely diminished when you're streaming. You can't sneak up on people, you can't surprise attack. And obviously, people understand how difficult getting stream sniped is on a shooting game, because in shooting game, positioning is almost everything. In this game, it's not as important, but very often I feel like it's overlooked as an important part of invading, especially in duels. It doesn't really change anything. Well, I say it doesn't change anything. It changes the fact that you know which talisman, which weapon I'm using, that sort of stuff, like, in advance. But other than that, you know, people understand, oh, you know, you're sniping some streamer in a shooting game, like, you know exactly where you are. Like, you can pre-fire the corner before they get there, or you can know which route they're going to sneak behind them. Like, that's very unfair, very unfair advantage. In this game, not really. I wouldn't say, like, that it's unfair, but it's definitely a huge advantage or disadvantage that you're putting yourself when you're streaming live, basically. Much easier to win off stream. I'll just say that. Much easier. At least for me. Like, when I play off stream, it's and I'm saying that, you know, like, if I invade some shitters off stream, and let's say it's not like a Radon Beach type situation where, you know, doesn't matter what you do, there are no outplays there. If you're, like, let's say inviting shitters in Lernia off stream, you can bet that the Concealing Veil is going to be super clutch, because you're going to be able to pepper out your opposition slowly but surely from a safe distance, without them really being able to attack you back, because every time you hit them, you change position and they can't really chase you forever. And so that's something that's very often overlooked, because you don't see me using it, you don't think about it when I'm streaming, but it's something I absolutely use when I'm off stream. I outspaced him there, but we got interrupted by the host. I was getting ready to punish the yellow. Careful mage spam coming in. The light roll as well. You know what? I think we're gonna keep the dagger here. We're gonna keep the dagger, and I'm gonna have to play this a little more slowly. No hit. Scary. Yeah, we can't really commit here. Almost impossible, actually. Come on, we had that perfect. So obnoxious, like they're all like super bad, but you can't ever put any pressure on anyone. You can like get one hit and after you're forced to back off. Oh, almost got caught by the goats. Okay, good kill. Let's use that. Interesting plan the host had. Well, these people are usually not used to playing alone, so when they play by themselves, it always looks like they're clueless. Oh well. I think that was a good win. We definitely had to work for it, that's for sure. Once a gank, now a marathon? Yeah. Yeah, it ends up like that pretty often. He needs his shepherds. Yeah, he needed it, that yellow with the great spear. He needed that guy to tell him what to do. Is Dark Souls 300% dead? No idea. I don't really play it anymore. It is a 9-year-old game, though. You know? Nothing lasts forever. Any people in there? Oh, it's just one. Wait, what the fuck? Bro. Bro, what? Are we supposed to invade here? Can I jump down there? Can I even make that jump? I'm not even sure I can. What a terrible pot. I can make that jump? I'm not sure I can make that jump. Well, Midwich. It's a leap of fate. Oh, we can make it. All right. Oh, doesn't matter. I wanted oh. Good spacing. Pretty good stuff. And my physic fucking wore off. Insane. Alright, he got lucky there because that's not supposed to be like that. Like, his physic is damage, right? My physic is basically ill near death. He basically skipped it because my physic wore off beforehand. So it skews the fight, basically. He doesn't deserve that. It's just stupid Elden Ring again. A dumbass game. I mean, next time we fight him, I'm gonna use something good as well. Not give him a fucking chance of, like, any fluky stuff happening. It's so frustrating when you don't deserve to lose. The game just fucking sucks. think the bubble was used. I don't think so. I didn't notice it. Well, guys, you know the drill, right? When do people snipe? When I use fucking off-meta stuff. That's what happens. You know, last stream it was the fat roll stream. That's when you get the 1v1 snipe. Now it's the hand axe. Yeah, Catch Flame is very good, Green. Like, it's not memey in any way. Like, Catch Flame is absolutely meta. It's just that it requires, like, a dedicated build, so you don't really see it as often because of that. But it absolutely is, like, very strong. How did you find him? I had a feeling that he was on radar at that spot, so he had to be hiding with the item. I'm pretty sure you can hide like either as a tombstone or one of these, so I just attacked the ones that were a different color than the other. How do you play this game? You're exhausted from it? Well, I get paid playing it, so that's a good enough reason. I'm so mad we lost the last fight. Like, I have no business losing against this guy, I'm gonna be honest. Alright, to be fair, like, now that I think about it, he did pick an arena where you cannot strafe his fucking spell either. Like, his arc. It basically did the whole length of the thing. It's so scummy when you think about it. Great game. God, stop it. Getting comboed by everything. Saved them so bad. Alright, your turn now. Finally. Oh, you could feel this guy, dude. Like, it's not a hard... Like, what he's using, like, the catch link, so it's not hard to fight against. Like, it's not something that's hard to fight. It's just, like, using the hand axe against that, it's probably, like, not the thing to use. Like, if I had to, you know... If I had to play this and actually, like, give him the respect of, like, using something good, I'd use the lance. And it wouldn't really be a problem to fight. I'd just use Great Lance. I know the hand axe is not the right call, but the way I look at it, I'm better than the person I'm fighting, so I should be able to win with a worse weapon. That's how I see it. Oh, absolutely, Toby. Like, the arenas you fight in are too big for the most part. But he picked, like, one of the narrowest spot where, like, there was no way of avoiding his attacks, you know what I mean? Like, you could only back up, so... It's like... Yes, people are gonna complain about arenas being too big. But then if they use fucking gravitational missile in the small arena... You know, that's on them, like, being idiots, like, not complaining about both, you know? Like, both complaints make sense if you stop and think about it. Like, you can abuse small arenas with, like, Ender, for instance, or gravitational missile. Like, it's not that hard to understand, or, you know... that clever of a strategy, you know? In this case, he just picked a spot where he could do his arc spell, and there was no way to, like, go around it. Because the spell did the whole width of the bridge, basically. Like, for instance, let me give you an example. Like, the arena we fight in when we fight is, like, when we duel, we go We go to secluded cell, to that little platform there. And then we fight there. That's the usual dueling spot. If someone shows up with gravitational missile there, the arena is going to be too small for that. Because gravitational missile is kind of abusing like small areas. Even though this area is the perfect size for any other duel, you know what I mean? I say any other, but again, if someone like does Dragon Breath from the start of the fight, like, if you don't have Endure ready, like you're gonna be stuck there, you know what I mean? I think what I'm most angry about is very often people try to abuse whatever they can. And either because I'm too confident, either because I don't care, whatever the reason is, I don't give them... Like, I'm too kind. I'm too kind with the people I fight. Like, you know, just the other day when I was playing with green, you know, like... Nut was using TS. I just stayed with the lance, even though, like, the... You know, it was clearly, like, not the play versus his TS. I just didn't care about switching, but really... Like, if I wanted to, I just switched to TS and then, you know... It's completely different. Or even against that guy, like... Why do I not switch to TS if... Like, why do I give him the respect of not... You know, like, I'm like, oh, you know, he's gonna complain if I use TS, or it's gonna feel like this or that, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't really care about that. Like, I gave him what he wanted. Like, I gave him the easiest weapon he could have fought, something that's the same range and the same speed as his flame attack, but, you know, he keeps priority, I don't. That's a big deal. Because of that Reddit weapon, the post that says switching weapons is BG. I don't think so. I think it's, like, for me, like, I know I'm better than whoever I'm fighting. So I'm like, you know what? I can beat them with X or Y weapon. I don't need to switch. And I want to learn, like, different matchups, too. Like, I want to learn to fight X or Y, not just with a matchup advantage, but with a matchup disadvantage as well. That's how I got good in Dark Souls 3. Like, before I started swapping in Dark Souls 3, I played pretty much every weapon in every matchup, and so that basically grew my knowledge base of the game, like, massively, because I know which weapon in every, like, matchup, and know, like, which one has the edge over what. And so over time, that's a big advantage, but, you know, to feel that advantage or to feel that disadvantage, you have to play. You have to have that matchup yourself. You can't just, you know, hear someone say it. Because sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Have an issue sometimes when it's late of never switching weapon. But like, for instance, Cleve, I know, for instance, that you love the double Kiba, right? Let's say, I don't know if it's true, but let's say it's your favorite setup. You don't necessarily want to swap, and you know you're better than the person you're fighting against. Even if they have TS, you're still gonna go for it. Whereas, if you wanted to really, like, iron out your chances of victory, let's say you just mirrored them. But you don't want to because you want to improve with that weapon or that matchup, you know? And that's to your advantage maybe in the long run, but that's to your disadvantage in that particular fight. I can't see if it's... It looks like a rock, but I can't see properly if it's a rock or not. Like here, for instance, like there's no way we're doing axe against these guys. I will try axe dagger though. I'm feeling it. Insane. These guys are legitimately, like, super ass, but you're stuck with each other with katanas, or great katanas. You can't really do much here. Doesn't matter what I use. They're just on each other's asshole. Fucking game. Okay. The range there. Push PvP. And shit players go down. Fuck out of here. That was therapeutic. Yep, I agree. They definitely did not deserve to win this, that's for sure. Yeah, absolutely, Canuck. I fully agree with you, but for some reason in this game, I don't know if it's because of the stigma that's attached to it. I don't know if it's because of whatever, but you're absolutely right. For me, though, on the other hand, like, you know, it's also, like, I didn't mention that, but for anyone who's streaming, it's also a little bit different, because, you know, I could use TS in every fight. For you guys, it's going to be entertaining to watch me use TS in a fight like the last one, because it's the only way, really, that, you know, you can deal with multiple people with that much pressure. But if I use just TS every stream, no one is going to watch my content. They want to see, like, variety. That's why people care about invasions and not duel, because they want to see variety. So I can't just stick with the best gun or the best weapons. You know, I need to explore a little bit and play around with other stuff. I know, though, some of you, like, would still watch with only, like, broken weapons or TS, or still watch, like, if I use, like, the strongest stuff, too. But a lot of people want to see X or Y weapon. They don't just want to see the same old TS, let's say. Probably gonna do a last one here. Gonna get off after that. Gonna watch hockey. You're here for the vibes? If you're here for the vibes, then I should be using TS, because if I win, I'm happy. Want to see me having fun? Well, for that, we're gonna have to wait for the next Souls game. Unfortunately. Yo, Alan, thanks for the resub for 8 months, by the way. Fuck off, Midwich. Of course you won't do 1v1, because you just won it. And you know next time you fight me, I am going hard on you. And you won't like it. That's why you're not doing it again. I mean, I had to keep going at this point. I just had to. Why are you acting surprised, though? Like, Edward, you've been here, like, so many streams. Why snipe the hand axe out of everything? Like, why decide to snipe now? Why not, like, any of these other streams? Well, no reason, obviously, right? That's what they always say. Like, why that spot? Well, you thought it was a good spot. You know? Good spot because you can't strafe around your spells. Oh, okay. No, there's no emotional damage. He doesn't give a shit. Chase would never show his losing fight. Well, I'm not gonna disagree with you there, but I think he fostered that audience too, though, to be fair. Like, people genuinely think that he doesn't lose ever, so he kind of built that brand himself, so it's on him. To be fair, though, a lot of tryhard thinks probably Chase lose often. I really doubt he loses often. Chase actually is a very smart invader. Everyone loses. Chase was always better than the tryhard community thought. Yeah, I fully agree with you. Like, very often I see people like criticizing Chase, and I don't think they realize that Chase would mop the floor with them, and there's only, like, at least in Dark Souls 3, like, I would say there was probably only, like, the upper echelon of players who would be able to beat him. Like, most invaders that talk shit against him, I think Chase would beat them. He was actually very good in Dark Souls 3. I never really fought him. Like, I fought him, like, once or twice in the context of, like, invading him, like, while he was playing, doing, like, some event with Leafar or something. And I don't think it's very representative of, you know, of like any normal fight, because when you're in an invasion, you kill the teammate and then it's 2v1 against him. Like, that means absolutely nothing. But just from watching him play, I think a lot of tryhards write him off as somewhat of a like mid-skill player or something, which is really not the case. At least it wasn't the case in Dark Souls 3. To be quite honest, I have no idea if he's good or not at Elden Ring. No idea. But, you know, to say that me, Steel, and Chase are the three dragons, I don't like that. We're all pretty different. Maybe for you, though, maybe those are like three content creators that you watch, so. But I don't personally enjoy the comparison. Chase wins from every content creator. His carrier on top of everyone makes everyone jealous. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, he definitely, well, like, on one hand, I perfectly understand why it's the case. Like, the content that he does is absolutely catered toward the majority and toward, let's be honest, the casuals and most of the players who are not necessarily looking to improve themselves or not looking for any thoughtful, you know, they're just looking for pure entertainment. And I consider Chase content to be informative for the first, you know, few seconds if you're a complete beginner. But then the rest of the content is completely empty. Just like, you know, most of my content as well. So, to be interested in Chase, let's say, over someone like Steel or I, like, I think that you have to be looking for a positive personality. That's that's how I see it. That's why I think that Chase is way more popular than us. I think Chase is way more positive, whether he hides it, whether he fakes it, whether it's his real personality. Quite frankly, I think if you ask him, he's going to say it's his real personality. But, you know, he's the only one who knows, really. But personally speaking, I do not find that sort of content enjoyable. And even though I know that it works and it's proven to work, I wouldn't be able to do that. I've built my life around, like, being as honest as I possibly can And if I see someone who's bad or who sucks, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm wired to say what I think. It's just how I am. I am wired to be as transparent with either my emotions, for the better or the worse, what I think, and so on and so forth. And so I'll never be able to be that positive, you know, sunshine and rainbow that people often like to put in my face, that I'm toxic, or that, you know, Chase is a better content creator than me, or, you know, I hear that often. But I'll never be able to be like that. It's just how it is. Not only because I'm wired that way, but I don't want to be that way, because that wouldn't be me otherwise. I don't want to act as if there's no problems. I don't want to act and fake it. Like I said, I'm not saying Chase is faking it. He'd have to. Only he knows. But I would have to fake it if I was to do that, and I don't want to do that. That's not who I want to be. I don't want to be someone who just fakes positivity for the sake of views. Like, I want to be successful, but I don't want to do it that way. And I mean, to be fair, like, success is a very abstract measure. You know, one could say that, like, in the context of this, like, whoever has the biggest YouTube channel is the most successful one. But really, like, you have no idea what I'm doing outside of this channel. You have no idea how is my life outside of this channel. And, you know, I've did a very good job up to this day to keep that to myself. Let me tell you, I definitely win in, like, pretty much every department when it comes to like how I see myself as a successful person. I do see myself very successful, like, outside of this whole content creator sphere. And so I don't really care too much about what people say, but it would be lying if I didn't say that over time it does get annoying to always bring that stuff up when I can't, like, you know, come back and say yes, but, you know, I do this and this and that outside of that, so I don't really care. Or, like, I put my energy there, not on the channel, so I don't really care if the numbers don't show it, for instance. Like, let me give you another example. Steel is clearly putting a lot of effort, like, let's say throughout this year, in growing his channel. Like, he hired an editor, you know, his thumbnails have become, like, very SEO, they're very well made. You know, his content is much more structured, like Chase is doing. Like, he's clearly putting a thoughtful effort to improving his content and making it more appealing to the casuals. And I think it's working, and I think he walks that line of, like, having the content still be authentic, not boring, and still be appealing to casuals. So, you know, props to him for doing that. I could be doing the same thing, but I don't like Elden Ring enough to put that time and effort in growing the channel for Elden Ring, because I don't even know if the future of the channel is, like, a sure thing that I want to push. Let's say, for instance, that the next From Software game sucks PvP-wise, just like Elden Ring did. Do I actually want to keep this going, or do I want to move on from this whole content creator thing? Maybe they have their idea that they're going to do that forever. I'm not certain. And so for me, like, putting all that energy there where I could be putting my energy elsewhere, it makes more sense to put my energy elsewhere. Maybe I can keep the channel going like I did usually, with minimal effort. Still keep it going just in case the next Souls game is great, and I want to keep this channel going for the, you know, for the next Souls game and for the foreseeable future. I'm keeping the channel open as some sort of back door, but it's not my priority in any way, shape, or form. And so, with that being said, I don't think it's fair to compare how successful X or Y channel is if you don't even consider the context. And not really the context, but the intention. Like, the better question is, do I actually want to grow my channel? Well, the answer is not right now. Not with this game. Because I'm not even sure there's going to be a next good Souls game. So, like, let's say what Steel is doing, right? Growing his channel, changing his content structure. He still does, you know, the same old same, but he puts more effort in the thumbnail, more effort with the narration at the start. Maybe it's not the most time-consuming thing, but it definitely is more effort than not doing it. Maybe at some point I'm gonna do like he did. But for now, Just like I'm not even making like other builds than this strength build that we play with every stream, because I don't feel like this game is even worth it. I don't think it's worth it for me to put the effort in the Elden Ring content. That's how I see it. For example, you see yourself extremely successful because you once were a sugar baby. Are you interested of playing other Souls-like games? I am if they're good, but there's no good ones. So, you know, when we get a good Souls-like game that has PvP that's not from software, of course I'll be very open-minded to playing it. But that has not happened yet, so, you know. Unfortunately for us, we're gonna have to wait on that one. You spend more time on this game compared to 99% of humans? Well, if you say 99% of humans, you're right, because most humans don't fucking play this game. Like, I think if that's your bar, dude, I think like anyone that plays Elden Ring more than 99% of humans. So I don't think you phrased that right. Now, you should be saying you play this game more than 99% of players. But that's also not true, because you see me uploading every day, but I stream for 2 to 3 hours usually. Like most of the time twice a week. That is not a lot. I'm sorry, dude, but that is extremely minimal, and so like your attempt at a jab just simply does not work, because it's just I'm not playing as much as you think I am. That's the thing. Like, I'm barely playing actually. It's just that, for whatever reason, I'm a lot better than most people. And so it looks like I play a ton, but really, I just improve a lot faster than most people. The random R2 there. I missed the reverse when he jumped down. Come on, do it. I'm waiting for him to do a rolling attack, but the host is primed for a kill now. Oh my god. Almost got fluked there. Let's try something. I can get the Okay, let's do that. Very, very aggressive. Very close to each other for the most part. With one crit, we can end one. I completely missed that. There you go. Dragon breath is super annoying. Of course, the teammate comes in there when the invasion is over. Insane. They don't seem to be trying to grow the PvP community since they made Nightreign. I feel like they're not trying like at all, not just related to Nightreign, but feels like they always left us behind, so to speak. Yeah, the host had good net. Would you consider diving into other competitive games from different genre? Well, I mean, I did. Like, you have to keep in mind, I'm like, I'm from basically like competitive shooters. Like, I was a Major League Gaming pro player for Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I won tournaments, thousands of dollar tournaments. I was very successful at that. I was amongst the very best players on this game. And then after Rainbow Six, I actually was interested in For Honor. I played For Honor at launch. I won 5 Major League Gaming tournaments on For Honor when the game launched in the first month of release. Very successful at that, but didn't stick to the game because I didn't like a few things that they did. To be fair, I was wrong, and they actually they salvaged For Honor pretty well, and like people still play it today because there was like massive changes throughout the game's lifespan. So maybe I should have stuck with For Honor. Maybe I would have been happier there, for instance. But with that being said, I eventually moved to Dark Souls 3, and that stuck with me. I really liked Dark Souls 3 and was successful there. Maybe it didn't have like an official competitive scene, unlike the other games I've played, but I don't necessarily play a game because it has a competitive scene. I play a game and dedicate myself to a game because I like it. Now, unfortunately, we can't say the same really about Elden Ring, which is why that I'm keeping the channel alive, but I'm not like necessarily dedicating a lot of time to this, despite what, you know, some random people would barge in there to say that I play this game more than 99% of players or whatever. It's just not true. It really isn't. I bought my... I forgot, Amish, if it was the PS4 or the PS4 Pro. Well, it was one or the other. Like, I bought a PS4 from the winnings of, like the story is basically, like, I had, like, a tournament on Xbox, and I fought the top player on PlayStation that also had an Xbox. but he was winning like all the tourneys on PlayStation. And we basically went to last round, last map, and he beat me, and it was a 1v1 tourney. He beat me, but it was very close, and he really felt like we had a good fight. And so after that tournament was over, he messaged me and he asked me to be his teammate for the 2v2s on PlayStation. And he said, and I told him that I didn't have like a way to play, and so he said, don't worry about it, like just buy the console, we're gonna win tournaments and it's gonna pay for it. And that's exactly what happened. Got on PlayStation, bought a PlayStation with upfront money, we won the tourney paid for the PlayStation, and just, you know, paid for my console and a little more. So it's quite a nice story, but like I'm not like a lot of scrubs, like I'll say a lot of scrubs like to diminish like you being good at Souls games, especially because Souls games they see as the PvP is meaningless, skill-less, no matter how they put it. But I'll say, like, I come from a true like competitive background with Rainbow Six. I know what a real competitive game is like. When I played Dark Souls, the reason why I stuck with it, I saw the potential. The gameplay has skills. Like, if FromSoft gives the attention it deserves to the PvP in these games, it is without a doubt, it has the potential to be like an esport game if they ever want to make it one. Without like changing anything almost, really. It's mostly about like the attention it deserves, like balancing things properly, few tweaks here and there, you know, like have a proper like player limit that fosters community long term. It's like people always say like, oh, you wouldn't be good at a real competitive game. Like, dude, you're not good at any game. Like, I'm good at pretty much every game I play. Like, that's the difference between us. You'll never be able to you know, it's not just games. Like, it's like that in life. Like, if you're good at like fucking, people don't look down as much at it as for art, but like, you know, people have these like useless hobbies because that's what video games are for the most part. If you're not making money out of it, it's a useless hobby. It's purely entertainment. But like, do you say that to people that are collecting like fucking insects or dissecting insects for whatever for their free time? Like, one could say, yeah, but they're learning like knowledge about insects. Well, if they don't use that knowledge in any way, shape, or form that's positive to their life or their life of others, it is just a useless hobby like anything else, right? And so is video games. And so, at the end of the day, like, people criticizing a quote-unquote useless hobby because, you know, they'd like to think that whatever their useless hobby is more important and, you know, whatever, but it's just not how it works. Like, you get to decide what you like. Everyone needs their time of doing things that they enjoy. You have your right to pick whatever entertainment that you want to pick, and then if you can make money out of it, you know, good on you. You can, you know, mix something that's useful and pleasant. That's what it started with, you know, when I started this content creation thing. It was the start from the love of the games I played. Unfortunately, it drifted away for Elden Ring. It was not supposed to. When Elden Ring was announced, we had high hope for it. And so Elden Ring kind of blindsided us, so to speak. Ended up being a fairly bad PvP game. But right now, I'm in a different mode than when I started. My mode right now is make the channel survive until the next thing. If the next thing is good, then we start again, you know, passionate about whatever game FromSoft is making and making good content with the full energy and everything. If the next FromSoftware game is bad PvP-wise, well, gonna have to move on to something else. It is what it is. Alright guys, I think I rambled enough. I think I'm gonna go watch the hockey game. I think we're not really getting invasions anyway. Great ramble? Yep, great ramble. Alright guys, I'll catch you guys up next time. Thanks for coming by and listening to this rambling. I appreciate it. And catch you guys up next time. Take it easy, everyone. Let's see who's playing Elden Ring. I bet everyone's playing Nightreign and no one's playing Elden Ring right now. Oh, Alluvial's playing Elden Ring. All right, let's go. Let's raid Alluvial. You know what's funny though? The fact that I'm not playing Nightreign, we're getting decent viewership because all the content creators that usually play Elden Ring left for Nightreign, and they're like battling each other for like less views on the Nightreign, and so I feel like it's advantageous to just keep playing Elden Ring from a content creation perspective at this point, because not everyone cares about Elden Ring. So, kind of plays in our favor a little bit. Alright guys, take it easy everyone, have a good night. Catch you guys up next time.